Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm good. My name is Christian. I'm a student from Southern New Hampshire University. I'm here to conduct this interview with you. Are you comfortable?
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Okay. In short, my first question is, what is the three branches of government?
In my knowledge, there is executive power, there is a parliamentary, and there is a judicial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does each branch do?
The parliamentary is there to vote for laws. Judicial is there to implement the laws. And the executive is there to coordinate all powers.
Very good.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you mention a third party?
Yeah, Labour.
Labour.
Yeah.
Very good. What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
It goes into certain process, like it has to go into parliament. Parliament discuss, and later on it has to go through what we call a referendum.
Okay.
These public people will give out their opinions, then it has to go into parliament again to be approved and
Okay.
to be endorsed.
All right.
Yeah.
That marks the end of my questions. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Yeah. I will ask you some couple of questions. And my first question says, what are the three branches of government?
Three branches.
Yes, please.
Three branches of government. I think executive, there's legislative. Another one is it judicial? Yeah. I think so.
Okay, all right. What does each branch do?
Each branch. I think judiciary must be dealing with the court. Executive must be dealing with the government or controlling the power. Is it executive? Executive?
Yes, fine.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you mention a third party?
Opposition party?
All right, that's
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Every passes through the government, MPs. So the MPs actually has to go and discuss about it before it is recommended to be a bill. So they vote. The major ones, that means the bill has to be amended to be a law. That means they have to check if the bill affects their citizenship fair. Every citizens, yeah.
Thank you very much for your participation.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christian Mukendi. I'm a student from Southern New Hampshire University in Malawi. So I'm doing this video as part of my academic work. To start with, I would like to talk about the three branches of government. There is legislative, executive, and judicial. So a legislative branch is the only part of government that can make new laws or change the existing laws. Executive branch is in charge of making sure that the laws of the United States are obeyed, while the judicial branch is the system of federal courts and judges that interpret laws made by the legislative branch and enforces them by the executive branch. So on the second question, they say how the branches are connected. So they are connected because the legislative makes laws, the executive enforces them, and the judicial applies them to the specific cases arising out of the breach of the law. So how they are regulated each other. So these laws or these branches are regulated each other because the branch are arranged to make sure that none of them is powerful than the other. So throughout this system, each branch is given power to check on other two branches. So the president has the power to veto a bill sent from the Congress, which would stop it from becoming a law. So the legislative branch makes the law, but the president in the executive branch can veto those laws with a presidential veto. The executive branch can declare executive orders, which are proclamations that carry the forces of the law. So, but the judicial branch can declare those acts unconstitutionally. So, as question 3, we'll talk about Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. So, Democrats and Republicans as major parties. The third parties are Libertarian Party, which is known like laissez-faire or pro-civil liberties, anti-war. So Green Party and other Socialism Party. So these third parties, they have a role to play in the election because they are there to make sure that also they have minorities of the people taking part in the election. So they ensure that they also get some votes, even though they are not really influencing or getting a place in the constitution or the election to win election. So when we talk about how did the two parties, the Republican and the Legislative started. So there has been speculation that a two-party system arose in the United States from earlier political batting between the Federalist and Anti-Federalist in the first few decades after the ratification of the Constitution, according to the several views. Political functions or parties began to form during the struggle over ratification of the Federal Constitution of 1787. So, furthermore, friction between them increased as attention shifted from the creation of the new federal government to the question of how powerful that federal government would be. The United States has two dominant parties, which is historically there have been few incidents in which third parties candidate won election. Under the second party system, the Democrats and the Republican Party split during the election of 1824 into Adams' man and Jackson's man. So, furthermore, what impact do the minor parties have on national politics? Some of the minor parties play almost no role in a country's politics because of their low recognition, votes, and donations. So these minor parties, they don't really support elections because they don't have more or enough funds or donations. Minor parties often receive very small numbers of votes at election, to the point of losing any candidate nomination deposit. So, although third parties candidates rarely actually win election, they can have an effect on them. If they do well, they are often accused of having a spoiler effect. Sometimes they have won votes in the electoral college as in the 1832 presidential election. So the fourth question says, what is the basic by which a bill becomes a law? So for a bill to become a law, there are 9 steps. So the step 1 says that the bill is drafted. This means that any member of Congress, either from the Senate or the House or Representative, who has an idea for a law can draft a bill. So after the bill being drafted, the second step is the bill is introduced. Once the bill is drafted, it must be introduced. So in the process of being introduced, if a representative is sponsor or the bill is introduced in the House, if a senator is the sponsor, the bill is introduced in the Senate. Once a bill is introduced, it can be found on Congress government, which is the official government website that tracks federal legislation. Step 3, the bill goes to the committee. After the bill is introduced, it will go to the community. As soon as a bill is introduced, it is referred to a committee. Both the House and Senate have various committees composed of groups of Congress members who are particularly interested in different topics such as health or international affairs. Step 4. Step 4 is about subcommittee review of the bill. Once the bill is sent to the committee, the next step, as step 4, the bill is sent to the subcommittee for review. So these subcommittees are organized under committees and have further specialization on a certain topic. Often committees refer bill to subcommittee for study and their own hearings. Step 5, it says committee markup of the bill. When the bill reaches the subcommittee, the hearings and subcommittee review the complete. The committee will meet to mark up the bill. They make changes and amendment period to recommending the bill to the floor. Step 6, voting by the full chamber on the bill. So the full chamber also has something to say in the bill. Once the bill reaches the floor, there is additional debate and members of the full chamber vote approve any amendment. The bill is then passed or defeated by the member voting. Step 7, referral of the bill to the other chamber. So after the bill is given to the other chamber, this means that when the House or Senate passes a bill, it refers to the other chamber when it is exactly flows the same route through committee and finally to the floor. Step 8, the bill goes to the president. So after both the House and Senate have approved a bill in identical form, the bill is sent to the president. If the president approves of the legislation, it is signed and become a law. The last step is overriding a veto. If the president votes a bill, Congress may attempt to override the veto. If both the Senate and the House passes the bill by a 2/3 majority, the president's veto is overruled and the bill becomes a law. This marks the end of my presentation. Thank you for understanding.